Okay, very good. Okay, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. And is John present?
He is. Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Okay, John. My I'm in the doctor's office, so I'm gonna ask you, John, to help me through the agenda. So the okay, so I'm calling the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. Can we get a motion to adopt the agenda?
I so moved.
And I second.
Thank
All
you.
in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay, good. Next item is adoption of the minutes from the previous meeting. Can I get a motion to adopt the minutes?
I move approval.
Okay, prove, and I second. All right, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay, very good. Minutes has been approved. John, what's the next item?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. That will be item number 4, proposed budget for intermodal activities. Would you like
Would
me
you
to
please
sum up?
move? Would you please present that, please?
Yes, sir. Um, from discussions with the chair of the Intermodal Committee, the recommendation is that, and this is page 6 of the packet, is that the Intermodal Committee recommend a budget to the Finance Committee through the mid-year budget process to start planning for preliminary engineering, designing, and other activities associated with an intermodal facility. Some background about this is that the Vision 2020, as adopted by the board in 2010, discusses the desire of the COMET to create a comprehensive downtown intermodal facility, bus, taxi, bike, pedestrian, with mixed-use activities such as a police substation and retail. In 2019, this committee was formed with the intent to implement intermodal-based activities. Based on reviewing of estimates of costs for planning an intermodal facility, staff is projecting approximately $289,900 would be required. To summarize that, preliminary engineering would be the first phase. We anticipate $200,000 would be required for that. The next would be site work surveying. We estimate $3,400 would be needed for that. Next would be environmental. We'll need to determine if we need to do a categorical exclusion or if we have to do a formal environmental impact report or environmental impact statement in accordance with NEPA. So to determine that assessment, we're projecting $22,500. We're recommending that we pursue a firm to help us with grant writing assistance for some of the bigger type of grants, such as build, discretionary 5339, a transportation infrastructure improvement loan, transportation alternatives, or any other funding sources that we can identify through Amtrak's Great American Stations website to help fund this project to match some of the local funds we would contribute. We anticipate that will be about $15,000 for that assistance. Potentially, we need a lobbyist that is familiar with representation in the Washington, D.C. area. This is not an FTA-funded eligible activity, so this would be purely using miscellaneous funds such as fare revenue, advertising revenue to cover these costs. This will not be a penny fund expense either. So we anticipate $24,000 for that. And then lastly, if there's any need for travel for staff or the intermodal committee members to go to DC to meet with federal representatives, or if there's a desire to visit other intermodal facilities similar to what the COMET would be designing in North Charleston, Lansing, Raleigh, Birmingham, Charlotte, Normal, Jackson, Meridian, or Fort Worth, Texas. We anticipate $25,000 for that. All these expenses are FTA eligible with the exception of lobbying assistance. So we anticipate $212,720 would be attributed to federal funds, and then $77,180 would be attributed to local match from penny funds or miscellaneous funds in the case of lobbying assistance. Be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
John, let's make sure we caveat the travel and make sure that we put stipulations on what and let the board know and reflect it on the minutes of what is can be expensed. Okay, so and I want to be very careful on travel because people are just really looking at travel now. So whether it means putting a expense if it is an overnight. If it is an overnight stay, it has to be an overnight stay. We have to put stipulations on how much room expenses can we expense, how much as far as food. And I would really like to stay in line with the city and county guidelines on how they do their travel.
Yes, the board has
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, one thing I'm encouraged to see in that category is that a number of the possibilities of seeing other intermodal facilities are really day trips.
Yes,
Charleston,
yes.
Raleigh, Charlotte. So and so it seems to me that we could, at the point that we're ready to go look, that we could take advantage of those, and then only if there's something that one of these ones further away offers that's kind of extraordinary, something that would be appealing that we haven't seen before. I mean, I just hold those in reserve because I'm like you. I want us to be as good stewards and frugal as we can be on this.
Okay, so let's do it this way then. I appreciate that, Ms. Moog. Let's do it this way, John. Let's just go ahead and stipulate that it will have to be day trips, and then if we see the desire to go somewhere else, now I understand the DC situation, and that's not, and that
Yeah.
is a, yeah, and that's something totally different. When it comes time for that, but let's do a phase one on travel, and that is to just look at facilities, and then when the time comes on phase two to go to DC, we'll do phase two to go to DC. But let's just make sure people understand that we're not spending nights out in Charlotte. All these are day trips.
Yes.
Well, and the reality is, until I'm safely vaccinated, I'm not doing any other kind of travel other than car where I can stay at a distance from people in the vehicle with a mask on. But I don't need to be the one traveling either. So.
Okay. Well, John, let's do this then, because I'm very sensitive because these things can just come up and blow up. Let's just that's basically based on COVID and vaccinations. If we are going to do any type of travel, it will be day trips to other locations, and then we'll limit the conversation to DC by phone. So let's do it. Let's do it that way, John.
Of course, all travel will be in accordance with 2 CFR 200, so that it's eligible for the grant. And the board did adopt a revised travel policy in 2017 that is consistent of the city and the county that takes into consideration costs and things of that nature.
Okay, very good. But like I said,
Mr. Chairman, I have another kind of overall question, and that is, it seems to me what's being asked of the committee today is to start the process for approval of an overall budget for this project, because until we, so that we'll be ready once we've settled on or closer to settling on a site, because it seems like a lot of these items, from the engineering and the surveying, I mean, all of that, the environmental, all of that will be site dependent. And so I'm thinking that we need to do these in sequence, and but what we're asked today is to be ready with a budget once we are at the point of starting this process.
That is the case. That is the case.
That's
and
okay.
Mm-hmm. John, you want to add anything?
No, that's exactly right. This is just a budget. The next time this committee meets, I would presume we would prepare a work plan and discuss the next phases of which of the sites and which ones we want to focus our efforts on the sites. We'll be going into executive session shortly to discuss further information into that regard.
Okay, very good.
That's good. So
Thank you,
with
John.
that, are you ready for a
that's
motion
action item.
are you ready for a motion to approve the proposed budget with the consideration stipulated?
Please.
I so move.
All right. It's been seconded. Well, actually, I'll second, Ms. Mood. You make the motion. I'll second. So, any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, very good. Next agenda item, John.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Next agenda item is executive session, section 30-4-78.5, discussion of matters related to the proposed location expansion or provision of services encouraging location or expansion of industries or other businesses in the area served by the public body.
Motion to go into executive session, please.
So move.
All right, it's been second by Miss Mood. All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, very. All right, next item, John.
Is adjournment.
Okay, motion
I
to
move
adjourn.
adjournment.
Okay, I second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
You too.